the information that I need. And if I can pass that information along to other people who are suffering like me, then great. I mean, perfect. Save some people some time, because I mean, some of the things that I learned, I mean, it took me years to learn what worked for me, what was going to keep me healthy. I mean, I was, I'm down about 103 pounds right now. Most of the time I don't have seizures. Typically I have my work trucks. I drive big trucks, pull big trailers with equipment. And I mean, it's not typical for me to be down and out. I'm usually the guy working hard. I've supported my family for many years. I've got 2 kids. And so it's luckily my wife, she has finished college and has a job and all that. So she's floating us right now well enough that we're keeping above and doing all right. But it's still it's been so tough, and it's like I not everybody has the opportunities set up for them as I had in the place where I am now. So I'm like, I'm sitting here at my house going, well, I don't know. I don't have time to go claim bankruptcy and then start the process for disability and do all this stuff. I'm like, I'm going to have to just find out what I can do now. Yeah, that's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. The vagus nerve stimulator, they want me to go down to Orlando to see if the vagus nerve stimulator will work for me. And unfortunately, we looked into all that already, and I'm like, I don't need to go down to Orlando for them to tell me no. I mean, they want to have some conversations. I'd love to talk to them, because I mean, the Mayo Clinic knows things that I don't know, and anything that I can learn along the way, I'll take it. I'll take all the virtual appointments I can get. I try to get in with all kinds of people. I call like all the device companies. I've called them all, and I've talked to their top sales reps and their engineers. I've talked to so many different people. I really push myself in. Like right now, I'm part of a research study with the Hopscotch of Dartmouth, Hitchcock up in New Hampshire. They have offices all around the country, and like you don't even have to go through this one. They have other people that do it, but it's a memory toolbox thing that I'm working with right now, because from all the seizures I've had terrible memory issues and such. So this is a process that they use to determine what parts of your brain have been injured. They think potentially I have traumatic brain injuries from doing extreme sports and being a dummy. I've done a lot of dumb things in my life. I've hurt my head a few times, and I used to cliff jump, dive off of big cliffs and stuff, and I did a lot of drinking and drugging back in the day when I wasn't using my better judgment. And, now it's been, I don't know, like 6 years since I've had a drink. Mainly, they told me about 9 years ago, I stopped drinking originally, just because I had a kid, and it wasn't a good situation anymore to drink and have a kid. It just didn't work. Like this is silly. Like my kid needs me, so I need to not be going and doing anything of that nature. So I stopped, and eventually I was like, wow, I feel better overall, and I started losing weight. And I was like, but I started having issues again with my epilepsy. At the time, I had been taking a medicine called Lamortin, and it worked for a long time. It worked, but I kept eventually getting breakthrough seizures. Which means I can take the medicine, but eventually I'll still continue to have seizures regardless. And it got to a point where they wanted me to take 800 milligrams every day, 3 times a day, which 800 milligrams is the emergency room hospital dose that they give you. And I said, I'm not taking that much medicine. I already have enough side effects and weird problems with like my livers and kidney and all this. I'm like, I don't need that. So I'm just going to stop taking the medicine. They're like, you can't do that. I said, well, I am. That's what's going to happen. And I started researching, and that's when somebody told me about the ketogenic diet. And I'll be honest, the ketogenic diet was outrageously insane. There's no way I could keep up with it. It's way too much work. The people that do it, I don't know how they do it. even though I don't really eat bread, rice, potatoes, starches most of the time. Like I'll eat them when I need something to just fill me or something. But I just don't eat sugars and such. And then I basically eat like a paleo diet. I was told a lot of the artificial ingredients and chemicals and the glycol alcohols that are in things like food coloring and different even the soaps and body washes and stuff like that had all these products that turned out caused me to have epilepsy issues. And they're not it didn't necessarily mean that I was going to flop around on the floor, because I also have what are called simple focal seizures, where sometimes I'm just, you'll be looking at me, I'll just look at you like I give you a dumb face and just stare at you, and it's about it. And then I come back to, and I usually can remember it happening and just can't make words come out. And I've gotten good at pretending it doesn't happen. Oh, that would be fun. The main point was that when I got connected with a couple of people that were already doing a podcast, and they don't do anything like really what I do. I love her. She's such a sweetheart. They don't. They got a different style of show than I do, but they're good people, and I could see that, and I could see that they were trying to grow their channel, and I had never even really had a channel until August. I started hanging out with somebody. I started doing like karaoke and stuff. And I had an idea in my head already to do something like this, but I guess I had never thought about doing anything on the internet. I don't even really have social medias or anything. I have an Instagram, and I don't even get on that, because all I have to do is click on a thing on my phone and hit share Facebook, and it shares it immediately to my Instagram, and I don't really have to look at either of them.
I've only had this for a couple of months, so I totally understand.
This was really just an opportunity where I said, hey, you guys are already doing something. Would you be willing to try something new with me? And they were wholeheartedly into it. So I have the people over at Fearlessly Authentic helping me produce the show. Basically, I let them sit in the background and make sure things go proper, make sure things work all right. But it was about this will be the 14th week coming up. We did take Christmas off, so it was about but we're working towards 15 episodes and really trying to stick with the model of the show, which is just whatever I learn, I just pass it along. So for the last 13 weeks, I ironically, it's Friday the 13th, 13 weeks. We've covered everything from like my terrible story to just different devices, to using CBD and cannabinoids and cannabis in general. And I mean, honestly, we have a whole episode about it, and I'm sure you probably know some stuff I don't. Everybody knows something. Everybody knows something that somebody else doesn't know. Everybody's got some wisdom, and essentially, I'm trying to take this wisdom that I found through struggle. I mean, it was going to happen to me regardless. So what would be better than to share what I learned with others, because I can. And so I did. I've spent the last few months just building. It went from, I had 6 people on a YouTube channel that were like family members that I used to post like videos of me skateboarding and stuff, and the occasional rhyme or something. And that was about it. And I had like a couple American Ninja Warrior videos when I tried out for that. And I was like, other than that, there was just nothing on my pages. So this was...
You tried out for Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, that's originally when I first started losing weight, because I used to be in really good shape back in the day, and I did like martial arts and played different sports, and I've skateboarded since I was a kid. I've been a professional instructor for 21 years now. I got my instructor's certificate to instruct through the YMCA Tony Hawk program when I was 14, and I've worked with Go Skate. Geez, my head just doesn't work. That's why I asked my wife to sit somewhere close by. But like, if I have any questions, see if you can answer them. But she's working with the kids. She's keeping the kids occupied, and that's better than anything. They're rowdy. But I've I don't know. It's been a very let's see, dude. See the Depakote. They gave me Depakote for it was a little while. They started me out with just like the really low dose one, and it seemed to help me at first. And then after a while, it was like after a couple of weeks, all of a sudden I just started not being able to control myself. And then they're like, "Here, we want you to take twice as much." I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "I feel like I'm doing all right with this amount." And I already don't weigh very much. And that's the key thing is they're like, "Well, here, take more medicine. That's what's going to help." It's like, well, the medicine is based off of how much do you weigh? Like how much does the medicine have to spread out through your whole body? Well, I don't have very much body left anymore. And I had been losing all this weight and getting back into shape. And we found this place. It was a trampoline park.
Those are fun.
Yeah, it had a ninja course in it. And me, like I said, I used to cliff jump. Like I used to live up in Vermont and up in Rutland, and we would go down to like North Clarendon and like Lake Bomoseen and West Rutland, and go to all like the old quarries and stuff, the marble quarries, and they're just these 60, 100-foot walls that you just can cliff dive down into like 100 feet of water, and it's crystal clear. It looks like that ocean in the background. It's like pure blue. So you can just look down and see fish like 20, 30 feet down. It's crazy, but it's so beautiful and crystal clear. Even the streams, you go swimming in the streams. But we used to just dive off of that stuff. And even when you land properly, when your head hits the water, you're taking impact, and it can really cause a lot of damage. So when you have major head traumas, it can really cause problems. And I used to now I basically stick to climbing. I try not to do much. I have videos of me doing like double front flips and double back flips, double gainers, gainer 720s, all kinds of weird, crazy flips and stuff. If I do a front flip now, I'll have a seizure out of nowhere. It's just now I can't have them. My brain swelled so many times that the blood just goes somewhere weird and throws.
Can I ask you an off-the-wall question? It's gonna sound crazy as get out, but it's serious because
let's do it.
I need to know the answer. I saw Heather Joy, or AKA Heather Joy, put grand mal seizures. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, grand mal, and it's actually there's no D on it. It's just grand mal, and they've actually changed it because they called it grand mal. What the heck do they call it now? Tonic clonic. Yeah, they call it tonic clonic now.
There's issues with court-related paperwork from a previous case in Texas. And she said she was sexually assaulted while having a seizure. But she knew what was going on, but she couldn't fight back. Is that how they work?
See, grand mal is tough because it depends. Everybody's seizures are different is the problem. I'll have complex partials where I'll be drooling on myself and I can't move, and my wife has to like lay me down, but I know it's happening, but I don't shake or anything when I have those ones. So if she has complex partial seizures, then yeah, that's exactly what that is. That means and some people's last a minute and some people's last 5 minutes, and that's when you start to worry, is when they last longer. So if she was half conscious and getting tapped on, that sucks. That's really screwed up.
And you just wake up from it and then you're okay?
No, you're not okay. No, you're not.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So there's different levels of what's called being ictal, ICTAL, ictal. There's pre-ictal, there's interictal, there's post-ictal, and then there's this ictal. So essentially, what that means is that space feeling, that change in your brain that makes you act a different way. Like me, when I'm pre-ictal, I start to act different. Like I start to act kind of like a jerk. Uh, uh, I'll be a real jerk, and I'll be moody and emotional. But those are the days when I can't make music because for some reason I'm not creative on those days, and my head will be weird. Some people have more, like I had a cousin that had like 50 to 80 seizures a day. He was a mess.
Wow.
He had his head clamped when he was coming out, and they clamped his head wrong or something, and it gave him brain damage for his entire life. He was like in his mid or late 30s to graduate high school and stuff. So I mean, he was been a mess his whole life. So I mean, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was telling someone, hey.
Yeah, it's so it really just depends. Sometimes I'll have a seizure where I'll have one after another. What's it called? Status epilepticus. That's where you'll have a seizure, and then you'll have another seizure, and then you'll have status epilepticus. And essentially, that just means you just can't stop having them. They just keep happening, like one after another, and they'll go for anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. Sometimes they might last 10 seconds. But if you have one for 10 to 20 seconds, and then like a few minutes later you have another one, and then you keep having another one, I don't wake up in between those. So like if I have multiple seizures, I may be having a seizure and then just be passed out for a while. And it might take me 10, 15 minutes before I wake back up. I mean, it could be a while before I wake
up. What's the soonest you've ever gotten up?
After grand malls, it's usually a little while. And sometimes like I'll have the seizure. 45 minutes. 45 minutes, my wife says.
Okay, so if indeed that did happen, what I just told you, then she definitely did not get up and walk away from the situation.
Not quickly, not in a fast time, and not from a grand mal. I mean, let me put it this way. My exactly. Everybody's seizures are different. Let me keep pointing this out. Everybody's are different, but your
wife's gonna come through the phone at me. Let me. I'm like, I want to know about this situation because we all think it's a lie. So I'm like, come back to the situation. Your wife's like, everybody.
Well, here I want you to get this. Now, I'm in your room. I'm in your house. So I mean, let me answer questions for you. My emergency meds are what are called. It's a rectal Ativan. So when I'm it's a suppository. So when I won't stop having seizures, when I become status epilepticus, the only way to get me to stop, they've given my wife these tubes, and she has to shove it up my butt and blow this jelly up my butt. And guess what? I don't remember it.
You don't remember the attack that you had?
I don't remember having a tube up my butt ever. I've never remembered it.
Well, I'm glad that you can't remember it.
That's what I mean. So I'm saying it's not out of the question that something happens. No, if I was a female and I knew what it felt like to be touched. What got you on this topic? Well, she had somebody that she was talking about that got molested after they had a grand mal seizure, and they said they didn't remember it. They just know that they did, sort of situation. And I said, well, that sounds possible to me.
Yeah, that's
not out of the question. I mean, I wouldn't call them a liar or anything by any means, because that's totally possible.
Right, but my question was, can she instantly get up and run for help?
Depends on how long. It really depends.
It depends on how bad her seizures
Yeah, it depends on how bad the seizures are, how
like,
long
Drew
it
has
lasted.
TBI, so his brain's already kind of screwed up. Somebody that just maybe has like periodic seizures, they might be able to stand up and walk away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get up and walk away, but they're not going to be my really bad grand
But
mals.
that's scary though if somebody's walking around after they had a seizure because you're not in your right mind.
I get up and walk away, and it gets weird. It gets very
last
weird.
Time he had a seizure, he walked over.
In fact, my wife has a 10-minute video, and she was only willing to show 18 seconds of it on the last episode to show people what it looks like when I have a complex seizure after I've had a very severe complex seizure. I was sitting there still stuck in my ictal state, and I was sitting there talking. Go find it on that episode. I promise you, it's creepy. It's creepy. It's weird. No, she's like, who's the president? Because they gave her a list of questions you're supposed to ask people that like anybody can answer normally.
When somebody has a seizure, you're supposed to ask them orientation questions to see how, like, if they're back to normal, basically. And I don't want to be on. They can hear me.
Whatever.
So I'll ask him like, what day is it? What year is it? Who's the president? What's my name? What's your name? What's our kids' names? Basic questions that he should be able to answer. Yeah. Like any day of the week, he should be able to answer all of those questions. But sometimes he'll get it wrong. Like the one time I was like, well, "Who's the president?" He's like, "Obama." Like, so it kind of just puts into frame of reference of like how bad he is still. Like he's not in his right mind, and to keep to stay with him until he's feeling better, basically.
Oh man. Yeah, that's what happens to me. I bite the crap out of my tongue. I did it the other night. The sides of my tongue now.
Yeah, it was funny. He bought a new outfit, like an Aeropostale outfit when we went to games.
Thanks for bringing it up.
And he had this white shirt on.
Brand new white shirt. And I got it from Gabe's. It wasn't like I paid a lot for it or anything. Yes, I always recommend the CBD. I don't know where mine is, but it's yeah. You want to grab that? I mean, I've tried so many different medicines, and the only thing that helps me are purple strains of bud and this Holmes Organic. I don't know. I guess it won't show it because it's a brand or whatever.
No, it's just because of your camera.
Well, I know, but
I've just been sitting here talking and I've been muted. That's what you just showed right there. That wouldn't come clear on the computer. You get that at the dispensary?
No, this one I buy online. It's FDA certified. It's USDA certified. It's assured of its purity. It's organic extra virgin olive oil and CBD tincture. It's made by a company called Holmes Organic in Minnesota, but St. Louis, Missouri. So St. Louis, Missouri here. Manufactured Holmes Organics. But yeah, it's a black owned company. They seem like really nice people, and they make a great product. So we chose them. And so far, it's the one thing that when I'm starting to have an episode, I used to take Klonopin, but then it would just shut me down. It would just shut me down for the day, and I'm like, I can't do that to myself. So I started taking the CBD, and I took some of the weird gummy things and stuff. But they have like food colorings and stuff, which I can't have. And I'm telling you, when I stopped eating. And everything I took everything out of my diet like 6 years ago. That said, when I weaned myself off the meds, I stopped eating everything that said artificial, manufactured, processed, preservative. I mean, I can't lie, not 100%. I'll go and occasionally I'll see a donut at the gas station and say, you know what, that donut has my name on it. And that becomes my carbs for the day. But I couldn't keep up with the keto diet. It was too much trying to do all that. So I do what's called a modified Atkins. So I eat like 80 to 120 grams of carbs every day. And
what's RSO?
What's the RSO?
Yeah, I don't know that acronym.
Yeah.
What's RSO lips?
Oh, see, I know at one
I
point.
don't know. Let's see. Wait, I don't know. Is your background blurry like that on purpose and you stick
Yeah.
out? That's so cool looking. While we wait for lips.
That's so funny. I remember right here where Heather had put the first time she said I had ever had a grandma. She said I didn't believe I had one, and I was arguing with the paramedics. I literally argue with them every time and start swinging because when I was like 17, no, I was like 19, I guess I was an adult at the time. My mom had called for an ambulance because I was having an episode, and instead they sent 7 cop cars over because they thought of me as a bad kid in my hometown. So instead of sending an ambulance, they sent cops, and they came and beat the shit out of me while I was in the middle of an episode, a manic episode of a prequel episode. And
what?
Yeah, they beat the crap out of me, and then they planted drugs on me at the jail 3 hours later after they didn't find anything on me, and they knew they were going to get in trouble because I was a mess. My face was so swollen, and they kicked the crap out of me, and right in front of my mom. They searched me in front of my mom, in front of witnesses, took everything out of all of my pockets, took my coat, gave everything to my mom right there in front of everybody.
Your mom had said that she made sure that your pockets were empty.
They weren't going to let me leave the house because I had been drinking, and I was threatening to do some crazy stuff that night because somebody I had got jumped. And then so I got jumped once, and then I got jumped by the police the same night, and just got dumped up twice. It was ridiculous. And when they didn't have anything on me at the jail, they're like, man, we're going to get in trouble. Like, we got to come up with something, I'm guessing, is what they said. And so 3 hours after I had been there, magically, I had drugs on me at that point. So,
RSO is Rick Simpson oil.
Rick Simpson oil.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar.
There's a few people in chat who said what it was. So I'm a few.
I hope it works for them then.
A tiny dab the size of a rice, microdosing style. It's all I don't know. I make my own oil, 99.9% of alcohol soaked with your flour. Trimmings, you need about an ounce. Let it sit for maybe 30 minutes while you're prepping to strain it through cheesecloth. Please, 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 please research it. Oh my God.
It sounds like when we make hash and stuff.
Yeah. Are you talking about making Rick Simpson oil with bud or with?
Yeah.
She's saying with flour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically what you take.
Kid walking around again. I'm about to kick their ass. Well,
He just walked inside.
Yeah, we'll go tell them to sit in the door. Little turds. Ay. And I was like, stop coming in and out. And instead, they decided crawling on the floor behind the couch was the proper technique to not make enough noise. Kids are goofballs. They are something.
Same thing as hash. OCS. RSO is very well known. Lots of YouTube video. Well, evidently you use it, just a different name, maybe, or something.
Yeah, it's essentially what that is. Just mixed with that has the THC taken out of it, so it can be sold in different states. But I don't need help finding the THC part of it. I got that under control. Don't worry.
Okay, that's why I asked about dispensary because it's right here.
No, I'm not in a state that's legal.
He does Delta 9. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Delta 8. What is that? What is that? What is it? I can't read. Yeah, Delta sure.
9.
Oh, and I'm saying, okay, like real THC is Delta 9, and I'm like, hello.
Yeah, I think so. I think Delta 8's the knockoff one.
Oh, okay, sure. Delta 8 then, yeah.
But there's deltas, so many deltas. There's so many cannabinoids. There's like 140 different types of CBD and like most types of buds. So I mean, it really depends which tincture you get.
When I first walked into a dispensary here in Arizona, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was so lost. I was like, I don't belong here. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? Like, there's 1,000 different names and a hybrid. And I'm like, just give me something for pain, please.
Yeah. Well, when I lived out in California, when I was getting my bachelor's degree, I lived in Long Beach, and they had a dispensary just off the side of the highway, and right next to it there was a donut shop, a Mexican restaurant that sold like the street corns where they put the corn on the stick and do like different styles of corn, like even up to like marshmallow and chocolate corns and everything. They were so good. The place was awesome. And then there was like a 7-Eleven. And so when I had just, like I said, I had just got my medical license, and it was one that was close to me. So I drive over, and when I get there, I'm like, there's police cars sitting there, and I'm like, what's happening? Well, they were in there getting donuts next door as I walked in to the bud shop. And guess what? When I walked back out, they didn't even look at me. I'm like, this is weird. This is a scenario I'm not used to. I'm used to I had just been arrested for it just a couple of years before then and got the crap kicked out of me. So I'm like, this feels very weird to me right now. Oh man, it is. It's so overwhelming almost. Like too many kinds. How do I choose? Can we just sit there? Out there, they have those dab bars, though. Do they have the dab bars there in Arizona or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said Arizona.
You mean the Dablicator?
Well, they would go. There were these clinics out now in California. You could literally go. They had dab bars, and you would sit there like it was like one of those counter bars that stick out off the wall, and you'd sit on the high top chair.
Oh no.
They had different dads just sitting right there, and it was like they would just come in and let it sit there, waxes and dabs, and then they'd have the rigs sitting right there on the table, and you could try them all before you bought them because they knew they're really expensive. So you wanted to make sure it did what you wanted it to do. So they would let you try it. You didn't have to try much. It was like one of those
clean after every use. Did they clean them?
They sit there and just wipe everything down.
I was about to say, holy no,
Yeah, I did. I would, and if you didn't, I'd just bring your own.
Lip said, nope, it's Rick Simpson oil. Rick Simpson cured skin cancer with it.
I was gonna say, I think I've heard of one of the. I've heard a lot of different names of different like holistic type people that make different things. I've had a lot of people claim they were going to cure my epilepsy. I can tell you that 16 years of this, I've yet to meet that person. So a lot of zealous people out there selling things that they can't back up. So I don't know. I won't hold my breath. I won't deny your claim, but I can't prove it. It's just like anything I say, even when I do my show, I tell everybody right at the beginning, like, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I probably can't take your blood pressure right, other than I've watched them do it to me a million times. You know, it's not what I do. I'm just telling you the things that I'm learning and just passing along information from other people. I have no intentions. Like right now, I don't bring in any money. I have a Venmo that I put up for people to donate to. And I honestly, if anybody donates to it, a third of it's going to go to the production team that helps me, and the rest I just donate. And so I don't want the money for that. This is not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to try and help others and be in what's called an epilepsy warrior. Just be here for others and help as many people as I can along the way. So I mean, there's so many support groups that are out there where these people sit there and they have nobody. They have nobody to talk to. Nobody talks. They have no family members left, or they've been disabled for so long that they can't keep partners and stuff. People don't want to stay with them, and it's depressing to even hear the stories. But I've been dealing with this for a long time, so I get in those support groups and I try to be that guy that shows up and says, "Hey, I know things are sucky, and I'm going through it too. This is what's helped me. Maybe it'll work for you. If not, here's a couple of other things that might help for you." And I point them in the direction of places that work that for other people. And I can't even guarantee that what I point them to is going to work for them. And I don't claim that it's going to, but I'll try and help any way I can. And I always give people the opportunity. I like you letting me come on here. This is awesome. I truly appreciate this. This was very, very kind of you. And I hope that anybody that needs to see it sees it, and and maybe we can pass the message along. And
Yeah.
I try to label all the episodes, so if somebody wants to go back and see what each one is about, they're timeless. I do them based off of the information, not based off of the date. So I mean, you can go back and look at them anytime, and they're worth looking at. And you can ask even the producer. She says every time she goes on, when she goes to talk about the show on her show and such, she says to them every time, she goes, I'm not an epileptic, but I learned something that's beneficial to me every single time I watch the show. And that's what I hope. That's what I hope to do, is just provide good information. I try to provide good health information, different diet types, different ways to use different CBD products and stuff. I literally use CBD right on the screen, just because a lot of the people are not potheads like us. They're not out there burning bowls all day long. So when you tell them, hey, try the CBD, they're like, I don't know, I'm skeptical, I'm not sure. And I'm like, guys, I every time somebody's like, you need to try CBD, I'm like, I got it under control, y'all. I'm like, I got it under control, don't worry. I got it. But you talk to somebody who goes to church every Sunday and doesn't drink and says the Lord's Prayer every night before bed, and you say, hey, I know you're having trouble with them medicines that don't really work, that they keep passing out at these doctors' offices that are making more people sick than better. You should probably try that CBD. It's very natural, and they've been using it for thousands of years. Right. And they didn't stop using it until about 1960s. They discovered CBD. They pulled it out in the 1940s and made it available until the 1960s, when that one asshole he did everything. He lobbied everybody against it and made it so that they would make it a Schedule I drug. And ever since then, they took it off the medical market. They took it off of all that, and it hasn't been available. So people still have this mentality, because when they were kids, these people were kids. They were shown reefer madness and all this other bullshit that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit the model of what is reality. And you can go back and look at it. Literally, there's literal text from thousands of years ago of them using these products. In fact, in some countries, they still do it. But they go over to Afghanistan, it's so common for them to take a big brick of reefer, and a whole pile of people just sit in a big old hut. And there's a fire in the middle of the hut with a little opening at the top for the chimney. And they throw the whole brick of hash right on there, because they got so much of it. And it's not like they have clinics there. It's farming country. They just have the stuff, so they're gonna have it, and it's a family and friend event. The people in the neighborhood all come over, and that's how they spend the evening. Is everybody sits around the hash fire, and it's like, then you come over here and Grandma Sally's going, oh, I better not do that, but I'll just sit here and shake all day instead, because I've got Tourette's or something, and I'm just too scared to take a something because it's too closely related to cannabis. It's like, that's silly. It's silly that we've got people so brainwashed that they're going to be hurt by it. And that's a real bummer. It's a real bummer. So I'm glad to see, honestly, bringing it more mainstream, making it seem, every time somebody such as yourself puts up something like Stone Gator and people look at it and they go, oh, there's somebody out there going, oh, I can't believe they'd have that name. And then I'm saying, well, good. Keep normalizing it, because we need it normalized. We need them to stop saying, hey, this should be illegal in some states, and not others. And we'll keep it federally illegal, or the state's going, oh, we don't want to change it because they haven't changed it federally yet. Like, well, then freaking change it. Change this shit. I promise you, go out and do a human to human survey. You're probably going to get, if we're going based off of democracy, let's not base it off of who we voted into these terrible offices, where the people that don't actually give a crap once they get there. Come ask us. Put a YouTube post out there. One of those the polls. I mean, I see some of these people, these celebrities get more people answering their polls than people vote. That's sad. Yeah. That's scary. And they think they're getting the right answers. So that this would solve so much. And I'm glad to see people normalizing it and making it something that it's such a good product. It's such a good product. It really is. I hate to say it, the Klonopin and the Ativan are the only other two that have helped, but the CBD really is. It's the one that when I start to get pre-ictal and I start to stink, I like have a weird odor. I can like taste metal in my mouth, and I get weird. I start to like get spacey, and then I like get a weird attitude. Sometimes I'll get really goofy and like say weird stuff that doesn't make sense, or like ask questions that I'll just like start talking, asking questions like I'm dreaming or something, and my wife will just be like, here, put that under your tongue, boop boop.
Come as a dick.
Yeah.
It's hard to deal with them when it's getting all manic and stuff. It's a pain in the ass.
I can't help. I don't even remember it sometimes. I really don't. And so she just,
and I'll try to talk them down. I'll be like, you're acting weird, and like, do you need to take some oh, maybe I do. Like he'll start trying to bite my head off because I'm things. Like, that's not gonna, or he'll even tell me it's not gonna help him. Like, yeah, sure. And those are the times I'm like, are you sure you don't need to be on meds, dude?
All right, damn it, give me the CBD, and then I take it, and then like 15 minutes later, I'm like, she's like, you better? I'm like, yes.
Your poor wife.
You like become stubborn.
She's I can't even believe it. 16 years we've been together too.
Oh, congratulations.
We've lived in what 4 or 5 states together now. She's been all over the country with me. We've really lived it up.
We're
been
polar opposites, so I guess that works.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's opposites attract sort of thing. We've literally been homeless together. Like
it's awesome. You guys do a little ride.
It's been a ride.
Yeah, that's what I say. You got yourself a little ride over there.
Yeah, heck yeah. And then she helps me with the show too. I mean, she helped me with my business all along. She's been there every step of the way.
Sometimes not by choice, but
kind of push it
default,
in.
Yeah. It's all right.
It's only by choice when she says yes. When it's a no, then it's not by choice.
Yeah.
She's usually not one to say no.
He's done a lot for me. He supported me through school, and I told him it's his turn to take a break.
Oh, that's sweet.
It works. And we just bought a new house, and hopefully I can get myself back under control so I can get back to work and finish that thing, and we can actually.
Well, he has a degree in business, so I keep telling him like, you just need to get into like project management or something.
I need to stop being on the roof and start selling the roofs instead and letting other people do it. But the problem is I don't want to do it for myself if that's the case. It's a too much risk. I got sued a couple of years ago by somebody who was supposed to be a lifetime friend, and he took me for a ride, and now and then the other day he knocked his girlfriend or his wife, not his girlfriend, his wife of many years. He knocked her out, left her and the dog inside the house, and then tried to burn the house down with her in it.
What?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Now he's in prison.
Yeah, he's in prison now.
For life? Well, not.
Yeah, 25 to life is what they're already calling for it. There's no bail.
Yeah, so he got his karma or whatever.
Yeah, it came back.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. I made a meme over it and everything.
He's a douchebag.
I'll email it to you. That I'll keep it a little more private. If people find it, that's one thing. But yeah, you'll like it. You'll like this. It seems like it would be a good fitting.
Well, you were starting to have seizures when you guys were working together.
That's what happened.
And people I don't know, for some reason people like to not believe that he's epileptic or something.
I'm too capable to be handy capable.
And so they'll be like, oh no, you're fine. And he's like, no, I don't think you get it. I'm not fine.
I'm not fine.
It's like the same idea if somebody's like having like a panic attack or something. Like you don't see it on their face. It's in their mind, like it's not something that you just like, oh yeah, for sure they're having an episode or they're having anxiety or whatever, like, because that's the only thing I can really compare it to for me personally. But because I don't have epilepsy, I still don't know what it feels like, and I hope I never do. But still, it boggles my mind when people are like, you're not epileptic, or you don't have seizures, or you need to go back to work. You need to go do this or that. It's like he can't. Like, I don't think you get it. He can't. He
Would love
physically
to.
can't.
Would love to, but I can't even look at my feet most days.
Yeah, every
Well, that's how I am with the fibromyalgia too. Like people look at me and they don't see the muscles inside my body. They don't see the nerves inside my body, the pain I'm going through inside my body. They just see a body.
right.
You see my face.
But yeah, and it's like
It's
they
like
really
that.
don't understand until you go through the same situation.
Yeah.
That's it. It's easy to sympathize, but it's impossible to empathize unless you've been in a situation. And I try to keep that in mind a lot these days. I try not to hold people too accountable to ignorance. You know, because ignorance doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you didn't know something. And you know what? There's a lot of things I don't know in this world. And if somebody holds it against me for not knowing something yet, well, then you're the dickhead. I try to learn as much as possible. I try to learn every day. I try to take in as much as possible and try and keep myself from being sick as much as possible. So I eat well. I try to sleep well. I'm not very good at it. I'm a bad sleep, but doing the research studies, working on my memory, trying different relaxation.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you hold that book up again so that everyone can see it in case?
Yeah. This is, I'm telling you, I've been this week. On Tuesday, I worked with the my coach, what was she called? My memory coach.
Yeah, memory coach. She was really nice.
Yeah, she was my. So I every Tuesday at 5, I now have a Zoom meeting with her for the next few weeks. They want to pay me, but I'm honestly I don't even care. They're like, we'll send you $15 for each appointment. I'm like, sweet, cool. Keep it towards the next person. Honest, I don't even want to send you a W-9 because then I got to do taxes, and I just don't care.
Amount, so
Yeah, that's what I mean. I have
you don't have to file
Sister Teresa Renee.
Yeah, so I'm like, then I got to deal with something, and I know how that work goes. But this book is full of all kinds of good stuff. They sent me like this diary thing, and it's a proprietary book. I don't think I was supposed to pass along all the information that I did. We talked about that book a couple weeks ago because I was having episodes, so my wife was helping me out with the episode, and she read a lot of that book for me because I couldn't even look at the book that day. It's some days I'll like try to look at words, and they just keep going back and forth past each other, and it makes me like I get like a seasick feeling, and then I'll get dizzy, and then I'm like, uh-oh, and then I start to sweat really weird, like I'll get sweat down my face, and if I can stop myself at that point, I'm still in like the simple partial seizure, but sometimes they'll start to get worse, and all of a sudden it's like uh-oh, and I'll start drooling like all over myself and just
have an
I have like the full absence seizure. I'm like and I can't do anything, and I'll start like making gurgle sounds and like so it's weird because I try not to do it in public as much as possible, and
it's not like you can. It's not like it's something that you can turn on.
It's not voluntary by any means.
Like,
but
I try not to do it.
I have though through the years with the simple ones. If I can stop, focus all my energy, and stand there, and then I stop and I focus on something like very specific in the room, and then open my head up to everything in the room, and just start looking at everything. Sometimes I can stop it. As odd as that sounds.
Okay.
So I do have some control, but not when it's the really bad one. When the switch goes though, that's it. And usually I'm asleep. Usually it happens when I'm in REM sleep. But like recently, I fell into our exercise bike and hit the side of my head
no.
here. Sliced the whole side of my head, like the bottom of my chin.
My gosh!
I fell and went across our tile floor in the bathroom. I broke my hip falling into the bathtub.
You are just a mess.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I still go rock climbing and do silly crap like that. I climb like all the buildings here in Wilmington that I can climb up and then like come down the little emergency ladders. I do. If I see something I can climb and come back down easily, I do.
That's mania. That's
yeah, crazy.
yeah, well, yeah. You have.
Because you're crazy.
Yeah, well, that's part of the manic episode.
She has to tell the ambulance people that when I wake up and I'm post-ictal, like right after I've had a seizure, I'm not quite with it yet because the cops kicked the shit out of me that one time. I'll wake up and start swinging at the ambulance, at the EMT.
Oh no!
As soon as I see a badge, I wake up and I just start swinging at people, and I've hurt people a few times. Like a few months back, because of the C word, they wouldn't let my wife come into the ER with me. They're like, no, can't bring family members with you.
They told me because I had the kids with me, and they're like, well, if you can have somebody come and pick your kids up, you can go back. I was like, well, my family all lives in California. I don't have anybody to come get my kids right now. But my husband can't be left alone. Like he needs me by his side. Like he's going to be confused. Yeah. And they're like, well, you can't go back there.
Yeah, we try to tell them every time that's a very bad idea.
And I sat there and put up like a big stink in the lobby, and they're like, you need to leave. And I'm like, you know what? F this. I'm out of here. So I left, and I kept calling them, and they wouldn't answer me. And finally, the nurse called me back. Yeah, he had a couple seizures, and he grabbed one of the nurses and stuff. And I almost laughed because I wanted to be like, I warned you. Like I tried to warn you. Like it wasn't going to turn out in your favor if you didn't have me in there. So like it was your own fault basically.
Yeah. I was still in a seizure, and I reached up as soon as I saw all the people standing there. And I just saw people standing there, and there were orderlies standing there and stuff, and they were trying to hold me down. As soon as I felt myself being restricted, I reached up and I grabbed the nurse's arm, and I pulled her down, and I slammed her right into the side of the medical bed, and like threw her to the ground. And I don't even remember it. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Can they do anything to you for that because you were in an
episode? No. It's I'm not even aware of what's going on. I'm so
okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah, there's nothing that they should have listened to us when we told them at the door, like, hey, you need to let my wife come in, or this gets bad if I'm not there, because it's crazy. She's standing there when I wake up, when I finally start to come to, and she goes, because she's the one that sits there, Drew, come on, baby, you got it. You got to get up. You got to wake up. Do you need a water? And she just keeps saying the same things over and over. And then when I start to talk, that's when she starts asking me, hey, what's your name, buddy? Hey, what's your name? Come on, tell me your name. Until I tell her my name. Or sometimes I tell her other people's names. And sometimes she asks me my birthday and I don't know. And the other day she asked me on that video, and she goes, who's the president? I said, oh, who right now? Who? Like it was bad. She was so embarrassed. She wouldn't even let me show any more of it.
Oh,
she felt terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it's hard to explain. It really is, because like you see, I can hold a good conversation. I've owned my own business for many years. People know me as a very capable person. So when we try to tell them I'm broken, like I'm broken right now, they really just can't accept it. They don't accept it. And then on top of that, the fact that I have to now take all that motivation that I've had for many, many years, which has carried me a very long way. I not only went to college, I graduated cum laude 3.86 and was like the lead of my fraternity and was in Toastmasters. And when I got done with college, we were broke. And we traveled all the way across the country in my Jeep and lived on people's couches. And we like ended up in the woods. We were like up in Boston for a while. And then we ended up back down in the woods. And like, it was a mess. We went through a lot while I was trying to get better. And I still kept working, and I still kept doing things in between all of this. It wasn't like I stopped. But recently, this is the worst it's ever been. I've never had it get this bad, and so I had to find a way to take all that motivation. And so now I started hanging out with the folks over with Fearless and Steve Cutler live. He does an open mic show. I do karaoke on there, but he plays the guitar, and I used to take what he would do classic rock. I take his classic rock songs and put them over top of my hip hop beats, or mix them into beats and use his guitar as samples. So I've got there's like one called Peaches of the World. It's a Dead song, Grateful Dead song, put over top of one of my beats. And it's cool. I'll make a beat and send it over to him, and he'll just sit there and play slide guitar over top of it and stuff. And he made it look so fun that I got involved. So 3 months ago, I started playing the guitar, and now I've like got a whole slew of guitars, and I like get on and play like every day. Today would have been my dad's 63rd birthday, but he passed away a few years ago. Another fun tragic story, but when he died, he had this guitar that he had from he had it since I was a kid, and he just never learned how to play. He was not a very motivated person. He loved his boring life in his small town, and didn't like doing very much. And when they told him to start, we tried to teach him how to be healthy. He decided not to, and he died of an infection. How crazy. So now I take his guitar and I turn my fingers into chapped mess, learning how to play, but I'm already doing stuff.
So that's for the handle. You use a pick for use the other hand. Okay.
No, I don't use picks or
okay.
No, I started to at first. I've got picks for when I play the 12-string guitar, but I've only been playing for like 3 months. So I was a contractor for many years, and I kept trying to find things that went on my fingers that made sense. The metal ones stayed on my fingers well, but they tore the strings apart. So I bought plastic ones, and then they always are spinning and falling off my fingers. So I had to like melt them while they were on my fingers to try and get them to sit right. And I'm like, I don't like that. So, I still don't like those.
A lot of work.
Yeah, it turned into a lot of work, and now it's like last night I was just doing a stream, just messing around, and now some lady, I was like, I don't know how to play, so if you ask me to play a song, I'll have to learn it real quick, but it shouldn't take me too long. So last night I learned how to play Kansas, the Dust in the Wind. And so that's what I've been working on all day was learning how to play Kansas's Dust in the Wind, even though that's not the type of music I listen to at all. But it would have been something my dad would have liked, which is ironic.
I love that song. And when you say that song, I think of Blue. We love you, Blue.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So I'm learning how to play it today. So that's
well, when you master it, I definitely want to hear it.
Well, hopefully I was playing it a little bit better, but like I said, I've been playing every day. When I get up, I wake up, I start playing the guitar, and then I basically go until I gotta like do something, and then I come back and I play it some more, and then I play it, and
you don't get cracked, bloody fingers.
Oh, they were bleeding last night. I played for 12 hours yesterday. And,
oh my goodness, you need to let them rest.
I didn't start streaming until after 9 hours, and then I played for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then I did 45 minutes more after that, just bored in the living room. So
do you put a lot of lotion on it?
They need a lot of lotion, but I kind of keep forgetting to, and that's why my fingertips keep falling off.
You know what I would suggest? Before you go to bed, put globs and globs and globs, like at the fingertip part of a glove, and then put the glove on, and all that lotion will stay on your fingers all night, like while you're sleeping and stuff, and it might help keep moisture in.
See, that's the thing is I gotta find something that doesn't make them too soft, because if I just make them too soft again, then every time I slide my fingers down the strings, it cuts them like a knife. And
yeah, like
and so
kind of.
Like right now, it started out as my fingers could barely go up and down the strings without it cutting through them. And now, like after now, I can basically play most of the day, and they'll blister, and I can feel the blisters like underneath the calluses and stuff. But I don't really care. I blister my hands all the time being a contractor, so it's like I don't really worry about that type of stuff very much anymore. So. So it's like just getting used to moving my hands up and down, doing different movements and stuff, playing different things. I learned songs like that. I know like my family members and stuff. So I learned like Edie Burkell. It's one of their songs. It's you gotta actually sit there and play it out. It's another one of those ones where it's. So it's like I'm learning how to pluck my fingers instead of just sitting there swiping the guitar like a punk rocker or something. Because you can tell me any song and tell me like the notes and chords, and I'll just sit there and play it. And anybody can do that is what I've come to find. But really sitting there doing it like how the masters do it, how they sit there and they know where each note is. Like knowing how to move your hands up and down the board, like that stuff takes more work than I gave it credit for. But 3 months in, I'm just glad I can do it at all. So just learning new stuff all the time. But it's something to do while I'm not having a seizure. Oh man, those cats are way too furry. We're gonna start making pillows out of them or something. I know she's what time we got here? Oh, it's after 8 o'clock. Oh man.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm sure. I know you've always got people hitting you up every 5 seconds of every day. You've got a much.
I wish. I didn't know I was muted. I was talking.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, she was.
I was like, it's been over an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and end this, but you're welcome on my panel anytime you would like to come up.
Yeah, I was like, I look over at the clock. I'm like, holy crap, it's already almost 8:30 and I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So I'm gonna go make I eat disgusting amounts of meat. So I have videos of how weird I am and how much food I eat. People are usually blown away by it because I only weigh 135 pounds and I'm 5'6". So I put away serious amounts of food, and I can't believe I made it to 8:10 p.m. without eating something yet today. So I'm gonna go destroy everything in our leftover drawer. I have a feeling. So I appreciate you giving me the time to come on and talk about what I'm doing. The show's called "What Do You Know? You're Not Alone." It's Sunday evenings from 6 to 8 on YouTube. I also I broadcast it on Facebook. Link. Awesome. I appreciate this so much. I mean, I said I'm not sure how we intertwined, but I'm glad we did. I'm glad I got to come on and talk about what we do and you know, it's just be able to pass information along. Just pass it along. Keep the information going. And
that's how we all get.
And we're all stronger
that's
together.
How we all get educated, passing information along.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're all stronger together. All stronger together.
Yeah, well, I hope you enjoy your food. The chat saying thank you for coming up here. Thank you for telling us your story, and I hope that things start getting better for you guys.
If you're ever interested in the full story, the episode number 1 is basically the pilot of me talking about my story. It's basically a 2-hour episode of me telling what happened. And why I was doing everything. It's basically a more in-depth version of what we did today and whatnot. But yeah, if anybody ever wants to come and talk on ours, that we try to get people to come on and talk about the panel, but it seems it's a lot easier for people to call the suicide lines and get in the support groups and get all those sort of things. It's a lot easier for people to do that because it's anonymous. And if I could just portray to people like you, you haven't shown your face once. Like me, I don't care. Everybody sees me all the time. I don't care. And I'm a very public person. People know who I am, so I'm not worried about it. I tell people though, if you are, I got a way to mask your voice. I can make you sound like a robot if you want. You don't have to sound like anything. Just come talk. We'll figure it out. We'll get you taken care of. So I appreciate your time and giving me the time to do this. And
not a problem at all. And I know we're gonna see you sometime soon in here.
Sure.
So we'll catch up on the
around
somewhere, I guess.
I'm sure. Well, thank you so much, and you have a great evening.
You too. Have a good night. All right, everybody, have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I hope you have learned a lot. And I hope that you subscribe to him. And he has plenty more information. And he seems altogether a great guy. So I would appreciate it if you would sub up to him. But everybody, have a great night. Bye.